Hello class, good day. Welcome to our subject, Environmental Science and Engineering. I'm Sir Bogart and I'm here to present to you our lecture number 3. So last time we have talked about main drivers of change, primarily what? We've talked about primarily land use, land use change. So right now we will talk about the second driver of change called resource extraction. Okay, resource extraction. So the rates of extraction of living and non-living materials from nature. So what do we mean by extracting living and non-living materials? For example, you're extracting trees from coastal areas, right? Mangroves, and then you will be placing to urban areas or mga resort, parang ganon, di ba? And for example, another example, you'll be extracting land mass to place in a reclamation project. So those are type of resource extraction. Another thing, you can simply extracting of fossil fuels or petroleum gases, di ba? Ine-extract sa lupa. Okay? So extraction of living biomass and non-living materials is increased as both populations and per capita consumption increased threefold in 1980 to 2010. Okay? So, for example, again, SM MOA is a land reclamation project. Hindi naman talaga totoong lupa yung tinatapakan ng class. Di ba? So, materials for construction have increased also with the lower middle and upper middle income countries. So, the big countries have sevenfold, multiple times, they have grown in resource extraction. So from our sources, Shan et al. And the use of biomass, fossil fuels, metal ores, and other resources have doubled from 23 billion tons to almost double times 2, 46.4. And cascading effects of extraction heavily affects biodiversity losses. So also affects, so from extraction, resource extraction, it also affects your land use. It will also affect your primarily your climate, the global environmental change phenomena. Okay, so for example, as our case earlier, mangroves and seagrasses. Okay, we can extract those. And this diagram simply shows, for example, mangroves are there designed to protect the upland areas for storm surges, coastal flooding. So they behaves as walls. Okay, but what are we doing? We are extracting them, placing it to one place to another. Okay, so we need again a balance, sustainable balance when we extract these resources. So for example, in Aporif, the most common areas for resource extraction in our country. So as I said earlier, resource extraction also affects the land use change. That also affects your biodiversity, erosion, and degradation, and greenhouse gases emission. Okay, so I'll be showing a series of diagrams and charts. So let's just analyze, increasing production in aquaculture and top 10 global capture producers of fisheries aquatic resources. Thus, increasing production, decreasing what? Marine fish stocks. That's the dami ka nakukuha, edi madaming nababawasan. Madaming nababawasan as reserve for the next generation, di ba? So for example, this type ng parrot fish. Filipinos are buying parrot fish which is dangerous, or awful for everyone. So in this journal, parrot fishes are there to clean algae and clean reefs. And for soil degradation, no need to elaborate. We've already talked about this from the previous lecture. So, some types of soil organisms. Kanan lang natin. Biodiversity index. So, good thing our soil, being a tropical country, we're very diverse. However, there is a huge threat for our soil biodiversity. And again, it simply affects one another. This cycle. So these details just no need to memorize. No, these have already been part of our study. Let's focus on the engineering part and on the analysis part. No need to memorize. No need to memorize these things. This has been part of our elementary and high school sciences. Okay. So this is what we want to focus on. The net forest area changed by region. Okay. So as we can see, a decreasing trend in Asia. Okay. But an increasing trend in Africa. Why? Why is it common in Asia, a decreasing trend? Because of the urbanization. Okay. Our net forest area decreases. Trends in global tree cover, meaning you are extracting trees for the longest time, too many trees, a decreasing trend. Therefore, you must plant, di ba? Kailangan mo magtanim, you must plant trees. Other land with tree cover, and forest biodiversity significance in 2018. And as we can see from the chart, a decreasing trend. The vulnerability status increases. Okay? Increases. An increasing trend in resource extraction. Our resources, references. Very dolomite from the Manila Bay Project. Those are also types of resource extraction. And again, class, now I'm not an expert when it comes to these types of systems, this type of what do you call this, studies, no, disciplines. And I believe if you will venture on energy engineering, environmental engineering, I believe you will be much more capable in analyzing this. So this discussion is basically fundamental, or we want to focus on the introductory part. But let's just look on this, no, coal mining processes. The most common one is the surface mining. Okay? Ito yung causes landslide and subsidence. Pag itsura ng pagtingin mo dyan sa may Antipolo, sa kung saan sa mga elevated areas, nakakalbo yung mga bundok. Ito yun, no? Surface mining. And there are different types. The strip removal, okay? And strip mining is done in mountainous areas. Ito yun, no? Nakakalbo. And ito for surface mining, open pit. Parang hinuhukay mo, no? Yung gitna. Located deep. Okay, so mountain top removal also the same. Parang tatapyasin mo yung tuktok talaga ng bundok. Okay. So responsible mining is the key for sustainability and for environmental protection. And one of the biggest companies in mining, Semirara Coal Mining in our country, no? Yan. Natural gas formation. So today we drill down through layers of sand, silt, and rock to reach the rock formation that contain oil and natural gas deposits. So very common in the Middle East. Okay. Diba? Mas mahal yung tubig kaysa sa langis doon. So a schematic process of the geology of natural gas resource. Paghukay-hukay din pag may time. Malampaya gas field located in Palawan Island. So a schematic diagram of the whole gas field. Two major groups of biomass and their subclassification. Virgin biomass, meaning untouchable, untouched, no? From the term virgin, terrestrial and aquatic, and the waste biomass. So ito yung mga minsan ginagawa ng thesis for environmental na practices and discipline, no? Focuses on municipal waste, what is humanly induced, no? Humanly induced wastage. Municipal waste, agricultural, forestry, and industrial waste. Crude oil formation, again, no need to elaborate, no? Basta meron kang, ano to, yung parang instrument, okay, to dig for the trapped oil to be extracted. Okay, oil production process until the oil extraction and refinement. So, the resource extraction is very common in the Middle East again. Shale gas extraction. Okay, another watch at your own leisure video. So, should the US ban fracking? So, physical asset accounts include estimates of the opening and closing stock of mineral and energy resources and changes in the stock over an account period. Such changes in the stock of these resources are the following. Discovering that new known deposits found during an accounting period and reappraisals relate to the changes that arise due to the reassessment of quality and quantity of stock. Okay. Extraction, these are the quantity of mineral and energy resources that are physically removed from the deposit. Catastrophic losses, this really occur with energy resources. Collapsing mines, ito yung mga accidents or unfortunate events. Declassification, this occur when there is a change in the classification of deposits due to the factors such as government ordered or voluntary suspension of operations. So, classifications, Class A, B, and C. Commercial, non-commercial, and then potentially commercially recoverable. Total oil reserves from PSA. So, meron din pala tayong data, no? Kompleto. From the extraction, catastrophic losses, reappraisal, and reclassification. So, there are currently 2 active oil fields in our country. One in Galoc, Pulyon, Palawan, and then Alegria, Cebu. So, Alegria, mga pang, ano ba to? Scuba diving, no? Marami dyan, malapit sa, ano ba to? Ano nga ba yung Kawasan? Sa Kawasan, no? Sa Cebu. Kawasan Falls. So, Philippine petroleum production. So, Malampaya, Nido, Alegria. So, very common for our country to extract gas. So, you may just check this, no, class, no? A complete summary of the Alegria extraction. Impacts of our expectation can be observed in life histories, genetic patterns of population, community, and ecosystem functions. So, overexploitation of petroleum. Another created watch at your own leisure video. So, hindi lang pala materials, no? Also, wildlife extraction. Through hunting from tropical forests. So, ini-exploit, no, sa mga forest, lalagay mo sa zoos. Grabe talaga. Yan. Philippine eagle, endangered species. So, we talk about land cover, land use from the previous lecture. Yan na lang natin. So, part din, di ba? Part ng land use, land degradation, yung resource extraction. So, also, you're not only withdrawing from or extracting from land, you're also extracting from aquatic resources. Yeah. So we'll talk about many on the water water topic, hydrology, water sciences. So we'll just elaborate the hydrologic cycle in that segment of our subject. Okay. Aquifer system. Food and Agriculture Organization for Fauna. Water withdrawals have risen from less than 600 cubic meter per cubic kilometer to nearly 4,000, di ba? So, a withdrawal of water, imagine this class, no? Withdrawal of water means land subsidence. Bumababa yung lupa mo. Okay? So, pag-extract ng tubig. And increasing water stress from yearly. No? This will be elaborated when we talk about water resources. So, tipirin natin ang ating pag-uusap. So, another video to watch. Increased groundwater extraction and global water demand. So, if we were to summarize class na the water usage, ilan lang yan, no? Aquatic, agriculture, commercial, industrial, and then domestic usage. Yun lang primarily sa apat na yun naglalaro. Okay? Interacts with the depletion of water resources, interacts with many biophysical and societal drivers to contribute to negative impacts on nature and societies. So what can we do for global water stress? Okay, or global water quantity degradation also. Of course, reform water laws. Okay? Number 2, you can add reward for those who conserve water. Diba? And check for what are the sources of the losses. Probably leakage in piping, increasing water stress. Yeah. So we will elaborate water extraction in when we talk about hydrology and water resource engineering in the latter part of our subject. Okay, so that is resource extraction class. We talk about land mass extraction, aquatic extraction, water extraction, and petroleum and resource extraction as major driver for change. So I hope you learned something in this short lecture. Comment down below, class, if you have any question and clarification.